Tom helped me into his car, not yet knowing the severity of the situation, and drove me to the closest urgent care. There, I go inside, but was so disoriented that the receptionist asked Tom if he was my caretaker because she thought that I was mentally handicapped. Apparently, I was rolling around on the pavement outside and couldn't even remember my birthday. They brought me back, and very quickly they knew something was severely wrong with me, so they called an ambulance to bring me to the local hospital. When I arrived at the hospital, they took my vitals and discovered my blood pressure was as low as 76/48, which is potentially life-threatening. On top of that, they put me on a scale, and I weighed only 150 pounds at 6'3", having lost over 40 pounds in under 3 months. They did some blood work and ran some tests on me, and I ended up finding out I had a long list of health problems, including sepsis with acute renal failure, also known as kidney failure, an acute kidney injury, pneumonia of both lungs, acute liver failure, with my blood test showing my AST standing for aspartate aminotransferase, which is a liver enzyme that is normally between 15 to 48 units per liter, with mine coming in at a ridiculously high 2,809, over 58 times higher than the highest healthy range, which is extremely high as you can tell, and considered potentially life-threatening, indicating severe damage to the liver. I also had acute pancreatitis and hyperkalemia, also known as unusually high potassium levels, with mine measuring at 6.3 millimoles per liter, which can be surprisingly dangerous by itself. A toxicology test was performed to rule out me having any harmful substances in my system on both October 28th and November 18th, with me coming back positive for cannabis and benzodiazepines, as I had a prescription for anxiety medication and was smoking marijuana in a futile effort to quell my waning health, but I came up negative for every other substance. Despite what some people have theorized, my health problems were not caused by substance abuse, as I never drink alcohol off camera and have very rarely in the past 15 years used any substances besides marijuana off camera. I think my willingness to be transparent and show myself in inebriated states in my videos has led to people falsely believing I'm actively in a state of addiction, which is understandable, but I do think it's important to clarify this. I also want to say, if I was struggling with addiction, I would have no problem admitting it to my audience and being honest, as I feel being truthful is one of the first steps to recovery. After discovering my laundry list of ailments, the hospital I was at decided I needed to get to an intensive care unit since I was near death. They didn't have one in their facility, so they began looking to transfer me to one nearby, but unfortunately, all of the ICUs in Plano, Fort Worth, and Dallas were full, resulting in me waiting in a state of purgatory until around midnight when an ambulance transferred me 2 hours away to a hospital in Dallas, Texas. Upon arrival, I learned that they still had no room for me, so I had to stay overnight in the hallway of the emergency room completely disoriented, vomiting, unable to hear, and struggling to breathe. It was at this hospital the doctors learned of my trip to Culiacan, Mexico, and after seeing me cough up blood, theorized I may have tuberculosis.